What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right. Before I get into this video, I want to remind you guys, as always, if you're watching this video, listening, and you haven't subscribed to Too Raw for TV, please subscribe to Too Raw for TV. If you haven't hit the notification button, please hit that button so that you'll be notified of any and every video that drops on my channel as soon as it drops. And also, if you like or at least appreciate the content on this channel, please hit that like button. This will help not only my channel, but other channels that you subscribe to in the LDBC, the Lions Den basketball community, be that much better. Also, if you want to support, if you want to show love for Too Raw for TV, if you choose to, you can do so via the PayPal or the Cash App. Like thank everybody that has donated to my channel since I started doing this. I think it was back in May. And also, if you want to support Too Raw for TV on the Patreon, you can do so for only $2 per month on the Patreon. I'm able to talk about stuff that I can't talk about on YouTube for obvious reasons, censorship reasons. I talk about social issues, politics, get my commentary on certain everyday topics, real life situations. Totally Too Raw, uncensored for only $2 per month. Now that I got that preamble out of the fucking way, let's talk about the big news. The big news is, of course, that the Portland Trailblazers, who have been struggling, only 4-8 on the year. They've lost 6 out of their last 7 games, which included Damian Lillard dropping a career-high 60 points in a loss. This team definitely needed something. They needed a spark, and they created a spark in a big way, signing Carmelo Anthony to a non-guaranteed contract. According to the article I'm reading from, The Ringer, I'll put a link to it in the description box. It talks about the people that they've lost during the offseason. They've lost Aminu, they lost Mo Harkless, Nurkic, Collins, and Pau Gasol, who's pretty much done as a player anyway, are out, right now. And this team is pretty thin. And they needed something. And they signed Carmelo Anthony. And Carmelo Anthony hopefully will help this team. All right. And I'm glad he got the opportunity. I'm glad he got the opportunity because that's all he needed, man. I really, look, I'm going to tell you something. You guys who've been subscribed to me for years know I've never been a big fan of his game. I've said some videos, I've said some shit about him, as far as his game is concerned, that I'm not a big fan of his game. I don't really like volume scorers. That's just me, you know what I'm saying? But I think when you use these guys in the right capacity, they could be extremely valuable to a team. I'm just not a fan usually of a volume scorer being the main cog of a championship team, or one exception to that was Allen Iverson, though. Allen Iverson was the epitome of a volume scorer, but you couldn't help but respect that motherfucker, man. That motherfucker brought it, man. I'm gonna tell you something. If Allen Iverson was 5 inches taller, that motherfucker would have been a top 5 all-time player. The only thing that hurt Allen Iverson was his height. If he was 6'6" like Kobe and Mike, he would be up there with those dudes, man. I'm telling you. But back to Carmelo Anthony. Yeah, this is a good opportunity for him. He's a good person. I really despised how he was whiteballed by the NBA establishment, the owners, because from what I can understand, from what I've read, he was badmouthed. I despise when I would hear people on ESPN say, well, he doesn't play defense. Well, 90% of the NBA doesn't play defense. And when I hear people constantly say that about him, or they might say that about DeMarcus Cousins, what I'm really hearing is he's lazy, which is far from that. And we've seen that Carmelo Anthony he's kept in shape. Last time I saw, he looked shredded, and he was ready to go. But for some reason, the other 29 teams just passed on him. Yeah, his situation with the Houston Rockets didn't go very well, but we saw after he was released from the Rockets that he wasn't the problem. And I also want to say this to some of my critics who say, "Oh man, don't you look foolish for talking shit about James Harden? He dropped 47 on Kawhi's head in the Clippers." Well, as the popular phrase is now, keep that same energy with Carmelo Anthony because a lot of you dudes, after just 10 games, well, see, Carmelo Anthony was the problem with Houston. See, as soon as they got rid of him, James Harden started on his 32 game scoring streak. Carmelo Anthony was the problem. Look, I mean, look, he can't shoot. You know, Carmelo Anthony, he's a team cancer. Oh, Carmelo, what else the narrative is? Oh, yeah, Carmelo Anthony, yeah, he's a bad locker room influence. What else the narrative is? Let me see what else they say about him. Oh yeah, and his white pussy stink. You know, what does that have to? Like if you were to just look at those games, part of the problem is they weren't really using him correctly. Um, they weren't really using Carmelo Anthony's talents correctly, and then sometimes it's chemistry issues. Sometimes it's I don't know, man. Sometimes you just in a situation where the offensive schemes just don't work well for some players as opposed to others. Okay, I do know this: Carmelo Anthony, when he's on, is one of the last few masters of the mid range, and we all saw last year in the playoffs how valuable the mid range shot still is, no matter what they want to tell you. It's all about the threes and layups and dunks, and that mid range isn't a valuable shot. Nah, tell Kobe and Mike that. I think collectively they got 11 championships. So and they were masters of the mid range. So that's bullshit. Um, so Carmelo Anthony, yeah, I do wonder a little bit with Dame Lillard and CJ McCollum being so ball dominant, how he would fit in that. But I think it'll work. I think Carmelo, with this situation that he's in, he knows, he knows this is his last chance. Okay, and it'll be a fitting tribute for him to go out with a bang. I think Carmelo Anthony is going to have a better than expected season for the Blazers. I don't think at this stage in his career he's going to be a guy that's going to turn around a franchise, but he'll definitely help them. He's going to give them an extra scoring punch. All right. And I think this team's going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to make the playoffs. Uh, exactly what seeding, I don't know. But right now they're 4-8, but I think they're going to turn it around. I think they're going to turn it around and make the playoffs. And Ticket made some good points in his video yesterday about, I know, look, I try not to always bring up LeBron James so much, but I have to mention it. I have to mention this. It is sort of alarming that a guy who is as powerful as LeBron James is, and LeBron James is probably, even though I don't think he's the greatest basketball player in the world, his influence within the NBA and his power within the NBA is the greatest I've ever seen of any NBA player. And that includes Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, even Kobe Bryant. I've never seen an individual player with this much, who has this much sway within organizations, especially when he's with Cleveland. The Lakers franchise is so historic and so enriched with influence over the NBA. I think LeBron's influence is just a little bit diminished with the Lakers, but it's still there. But you have to wonder, how is it that LeBron is able to get guys like KCP guaranteed contracts, with no trade clauses, and that guy's an absolute fucking bum. He's able to get guys like J.R. Smith and Tristan Thompson, who, let's be honest, they're overpaid as far as their production to contract, ratio. You know what I'm saying? He's able to have enough influence to get those guys big contracts. He's able to get people like Jared Dudley, who hasn't seen a cheeseburger he hasn't loved. All right. But he couldn't get Carmelo Anthony a gig. He couldn't. I don't understand that. I understand, I remember, Silas did a video one time. And he makes some great points. He was like, "So it's not necessarily LeBron James' job to get Carmelo Anthony a job." I understand that. I get that. But if someone is supposedly a great friend of yours like that, if I had someone who was one of my best friends, and this person I feel like is unjustly being persecuted and whiteballed by an organization that I play for, or a league, I should say, I'm playing for, and this guy's a real genuine friend of mine, and I know that I have a tremendous amount of power, I would do everything within my ability to give this guy an opportunity if I know that this person is being unjustly persecuted. That's just me, and I think there'll be anybody. But so there is something a little amiss here. Is it that they aren't really friends the way that LeBron likes to describe it, but they seem to be friends, like friends. Him, Chris Paul, and Dwayne Wade. I believe they are extraordinarily close friends. So it does. I don't know. I think criticism of LeBron James is fair in that situation. Um, but back to Carmelo Anthony, what I'm saying? He's one of the great scorers in history of the NBA. 24 points per game scoring average, which is comparable to some of the greatest scorers in the history of the league. Up there with Larry Bird, I think averaged 24.3. Up there with Adrian Dantley, Rick Barry. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar averaged 24.6 points per game for his career. Shaq averaged 23.7, I think it was. But a lot of those journeyman years kind of hurt his scoring average because his prime numbers were closer to 26, 27. But anyway, the point being, Carmelo Anthony is one of the great scorers in history of the NBA. And Tika has made this point too. You have to wonder how Carmelo's legacy will be different if he was drafted, as he should have been, by the Detroit Pistons rather than them picking Darko Milicic. Because I'm certain if they had drafted Carmelo Anthony back in 2003, in his rookie year, they won the title still. And you have to think with the addition of Carmelo Anthony to that roster that the Pistons probably would have won back-to-back titles in 2004 and 2005. So this is a guy who came into the NBA winning back-to-back championships and being the best player on that team. It would have been him. They would have worked it out some way. It would have been him, Rip Hamilton, Chauncey Billups. I don't know what they did with the fuck was his name? Tayshaun Prince. I don't know how that would have worked. Maybe they would have shared minutes. I don't know. But ultimately, maybe they would have. I don't know. But Tayshaun may have come off the bench. I don't know how that would have worked out. But you got to feature Carmelo Anthony on that team. So he would have came. Look how his legacy would have been like magic. He would have came into the NBA with a championship with Syracuse. Then he won a championship his rookie year, 2003, 2004. Then he probably would have won a championship in 2005 against the San Antonio Spurs in the finals, right? Then after that, you kind of wonder, but he probably still would have won at least one more title. So this is a guy that probably would have won at least 2 or 3 championships. And his legacy would be so much more enhanced. He's a Hall of Famer anyway, but you do wonder about these woulda, coulda, shouldas, you know. But that's pretty much it, man. Tell me what you guys think, man.